This is the world famous Blue Horizon. Everybody came through here and fought. Last time I was here, my uncle 40, Troy Fletcher, he fought Chucky T. Chavorsky. He wound up losing that fight, mind you, but that's the last time I was here, man. My dad fought here, Anthony fought here. All the good boxers, great boxers from Philadelphia fought here. I think you had to come through this place in order to prove yourself that you was a great Philadelphia fighter. People might say otherwise, but this is legendary right here. This Blue Horizon is legendary.
Blue Horizon is the best place in the world to watch a fight.
The Mecca of Philly.
The Blue Horizon was a home run. The ring was the smallest ring I ever boxed in.
Anybody that was anybody fought there.
I mean, it was a dump, but it was our dump.
A little bit more than a minute left in round 2 of a 10-rounder at the Blue Horizon Club, Philadelphia, on the fight of the week. Hayward, as you can see, likes to get in and trade. Stokes is content to box.
How many years did you promote at the Blue?
1969 to 2001. Then I came back for sporadic shows. Not that many. I don't think we ever had a really bad show there at the end. In the early years it was different when I was learning how to make matches. As long as the fights were good, it didn't matter who was fighting. I didn't have to worry about records. I didn't have to worry about ticket sellers because we were selling out no matter who was fighting. So it was a matchmaker's dream.
Sometimes they'd sell out before they announced the main event. It's just very weird because it become like a cult classic.
You go to the Blue Horizon, you're going to know that you're in a fight. Russell Peltz didn't play that. He didn't have mismatches too much.
To really prove yourself a fighter, you got to go down there and you got to fight against a Philly fighter. A Philly fighter was a whole nother type fighter. If you didn't pass through the Blue, yeah, maybe you're a boxer, maybe, you may not have quite been there.
Yeah, I think Russell Peltz, the Blue Horizon, he just wanted to put on good fights, because these are hungry boxing fans, and they're not going to pay and go and see, the one-sided fight. No, nobody likes that. Seeing a guy get beat up who shouldn't be in there with this guy.
You're seeing like quality fights when you go to the Blue Horizon, and and you're watching something on HBO and you're going, Christ, I think I would have rather been watching it at the Blue.
They were officially, I think, 1,400 seats, right? One time, Tim Witherspoon fought there. I think he was in between titles or just lost a title or anything. They got 2,000 people in there.
It's the perfect boxing venue. I don't think there's ever been a better boxing venue than Blue Horizon.
There was not a bad seat in the house.
It was a special place. It was a special place. But it made me feel the first time like I could be my best. Like this is where you go, It was almost like and like you said, up in the balcony, looking down on you, a small ring. The ring was the smallest ring I ever boxed in.
I was there for a fight. I was with one of my stablemates. He fought. And after the fight, everybody was gone. I don't know why we were even still there, but we were there. The lights were off. And I got up in the ring, the Blue Horizon ring, and I'm shadowboxing by myself. And I remember thinking two things. One, this is the smallest ring I've ever been in. And two, this canvas is so soft. So they did that on purpose. Like they ensured every fight was going to be a good fight. And I remember thinking, man, I got to fight Tony Thornton in this little ring. This is kind of crazy.
Our ring was 15'9" inside the ropes, so it made for even better fights than normal. And it was an intimidating place.
Almost like in Rome, with the Gladiator at the Coliseum. That's what it felt like.
I gotta tell you, in June of '91, I fought a guy named Robert Hightower down in the Blue Horizon. I had never been to the Blue Horizon, but I had saw it on TV. When I got there, actually, no disrespect, it was actually like a hole in the wall. But the fans were so dedicated to the sport. Any punch you throw, ooh, ah! I said, these are real fight fans here. I gave them their money's worth back in '91, and they really wanted me to come back, but it never happened that way. Russell Peltz was the promoter that night. Yes, he put on a fine show, Russell.
I mean, if you were a fight fan, you literally had to go there just to experience it.
People came from all over the country. Some people scheduled their vacations around our fights.
When Russell first started promoting there was just one ticket price. No seats, you just paid. And as you know, the best seats were in the balcony because you could have jumped out of the balcony into the ring if you were crazy enough to do it.
It was as intimate a venue as there ever was. When you were in the blue, you would want to be in the balcony as opposed to run to ringside. I mean, most people I don't want the ringside ticket. I want to be up here.
Doors would open. You could hear like a cattle train coming in. You could hear all these people running, stomping on the ground to get to those seats right above the ring.
When the doors opened, there was like Oklahoma land rush going up those stairs, people falling down to get those best seats in the front row.
Literally, not only could you jump from the balcony into the ring, but you could do it without getting hurt. That's how close it was.
The balcony from the ring, you could almost touch it. That's how close. So if you're sitting in the balcony, I mean, you're looking right at the fight. You're almost in there with the fighters.
You could jump off the balcony into the ring, no problem, easily. I'm surprised it didn't happen on USA Tuesday Night Fights. I figured some guy would make himself famous. But being in Philly, he might not have made it out of there alive. So,
like in the old days, people wanted to fight at Madison Square Garden. By the time we got to the 90s and we were on USA and then ESPN, everybody wanted to fight at the Blue Horizon.
I was happier to fight there than to fight like at the Felt Forum.
I actually made my pro debut there. I was supposed to fight at Madison Square Garden. I'm in the gym, and Russell Peltz was there. He's in the office. He's talking to the owner. The fight was like kind of falling apart. I said, I'll fight him. They were like, but you're supposed to fight at the Garden. I was like, fuck the Garden. I was like, I want to fight at the Blue Horizon.
Blue Horizon was awesome. So I had, as a teenager, I was always watching Tuesday Night Fights on USA, and they used to show fights from the Blue Horizon all the time. And I used to watch them, and all those fights were rumbles. Like, the crowd was thoroughly into it.
You have to run the gauntlet. You have to go through the blue to really prove yourself.
When I fought that night, it was Livingstone Bramble versus Rockin' Rodney Moore. And coming through there, I felt like Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull when he was coming through and for the title fight. And they're like, they got to push people out of the way. It was just like that. That people were on top of everybody.
Went to the fights, went to the Blue Horizon. And I walked in, and I'm just like, this is a wild scene. Like, I mean, those boxing fans are passionate. And I said, I have to fight here. I absolutely have to fight here. So I told the guy, I'm just like, dude, whatever it takes, like one way or another. I'm like, I'll come here. I'll fight a local Philly guy. It doesn't matter. I have to fight here.
History. You've been there. I've been there. I had many fights at the Blue Horizon.
For all its history, the Blue Horizon had only had one world title fight back in 1997.
Charles Brewer, the Hatchet. I mean, he fought the only world title against Joey DeGrandis there, and that was a hell of a fight.
That particular event was probably the most exciting fight that I could have had in my entire career. A world title fight at the legendary Blue Horizon. I mean, that night, man, that night just blew me away.
What we called it on Tuesday Night Fights is we called it the House of Rockies. Everybody in there is a Rocky. They're all, they've all got the dream. They got the music playing. So for Tuesday Night Fights, the Blue Horizon was a home run.
The dressing rooms are another level up. So you got the arena level and then the dressing room level. And you go into the dressing room, there's literally holes punched through the walls where even though I'm in this dressing room, I could see you in that dressing room. You can look at your opponent.
And the locker rooms were disgusting, and that's boxing, man. That's what, it was just the realism of it. I mean, there'd be like holes. You could see your opponent through like a hole in the wall in the other little stall you were in, But summertime, forget about it, man. There's no air conditioning, no nothing. I would lose 10 pounds just working guys' corners.
Coming up as a youngster, the Blue Horizon was the Mecca of Philly. When I got that call, it was a pleasure.
If you're from Philadelphia, you have to go through the Blue Horizon and get your blessings. and then you go all around the world in different cities and all that.
It actually was like fighting in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? All your friends around you, everybody screaming for you. They got you in a big circle, and you and your opponent going at it.
The Blue Horizon was such a neat place because it was like a family. Everybody knew each other.
You know, when you come here, man, you got to show out. And that was my main thing. Once I fought in the Blue Horizon, it was the Mecca of Philly. You had to show off. You had to show out. And I knew I had what it took to do that.
They hated me. I fought a guy from Philadelphia. I'm from New York. They booed the fuck out of me as soon as I walked into the ring. They couldn't stand me, but it was an awesome experience. And then I got to go back to the Blue one more time before it closed. Probably about a year later, I went to go see Eddie Chambers fight. Me and my friend took a road trip there.
You better know your stuff when you go to Philadelphia. You better know your stuff. You better know boxing, you better know history, because those fans are going to ask you questions that they know the answers to. They live the answers to. So it was a tremendous experience for me to go to Philadelphia.
Philly fans are tough, you know, and I don't want to make it seem like that I was a crowd pleaser or a hometown favorite, but I had people that was born me too at the Blue Horizon. But that's how I knew I was at the Blue, and I knew that's where I needed to be.
Well, why would that be? Why were you fighting another local guy? Like, why would they boo you? It's just the way the fans were?
Just the way the fans. Shit, excuse my expression. They done booed the Philly fanatic.
I just felt like it was like a real boxing crowd. You know, they respected boxing. They didn't care where you came from or who you are. That's what I felt. They just felt like you know, you show who you are in the ring, and that they were like true boxing fans. But when I went there, I really felt like, you know, I'm in the loser's dressing room. Like, I'm supposed to lose this fight.
I'll tell you what it reminded me of. In the opening scene of Rocky, and Rocky fights Spider Rico in this dilapidated, you know, building, and the fans, you know, one guy was drunk, and the fan, you know, he's just a bum, and they let him come in. You know, another lady was bumming cigarettes, and you know, and I said, that's the crowd. It's the blue collar crowd.
When they first called me for the fight, I didn't know the Blue Horizon from, you know, from anything. I didn't know what the Blue Horizon was. I fought Joey Gianfrido, who was a Philly fighter. They brought me there to lose, of course. They weren't bringing me there to win, and I beat him. In the beginning, you know, well, you're an out-of-town guy, so they want their guy to win. But once you take over, it was like they didn't care who was winning. They just watched a good fight, and whoever was winning, that's who they were cheering for. You know, I heard plenty of, hey, Gunner, go, Gunner, you know. I mean, it was, that crowd isn't, they're a fight crowd.
He was the hometown guy, but I won a lot of the crowd. The whole crowd was on their feet, the Horizon. Kylie.
Will we ever see another Blue Horizon?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You hate to use the word iconic too loosely, but the Blue was iconic.
Till this day, every time somebody says something about the Blue Horizon, my mind goes back to June of '91 when I was fighting in there. It was like a gladiator cave. A great fight club, great arena, the fans were great. Actually, the fans are famous.
So I got to the Blue Horizon 3 times, one of which, the middle one, I got to fight at. So that's one that I'm proud of, because even more so because the Blue's not around anymore.
Back in 2021, the Blue had already been abandoned. I was in the Philadelphia area, and I wanted to, you know, take a look at the old building. So I came over to the Blue Horizon, and I just photographed the outside of the building. I couldn't get in, obviously. It's locked up, but I took a peek in the window. I snapped some pictures, the lobby. I mean, the place is destroyed, and it's a shame. It's a very sad sight to see.
There's never going to be anything like that ever again, to be honest with you. I've seen people try to duplicate this. They go, oh, we're going to do a fight here because there's a balcony. And it's like the Blue Horizon. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You're in a community center. Like, no, it's not. It's not. Just forget it, you know.
I ride past the Blue Horizon because I take Broad Street. It's like one of the major arteries, right, in Philly. And it's right there. It's still there. Everything is being built around it. Temple just built a nice dormitory there for kids, right? And I'm assuming that one of the developers is going to do something with it. It's not going to be boxes. It's probably going to be condos.
Now it's just a shell, and I mourn its passing.
It was a special place.